Now let's see how we can create some Niagara particles for our dirt when the car is going over different surfaces. So this is kind of the main thing where we actually set up our or change our particles and activate and deactivate them. And then here is our 4 particles for each tire. So let me go over how I basically achieved this effect. So first thing that we need is some particles. So I tried to find in the city samples some particles to use for this, but I did not find them. So I found in my library this realistic starter VFX pack, and I added this to my project. You could of course use any pack or even create a particle from scratch. It just needs to be a simple smoke effect to kind of show how this can work. So after adding this to my project, so let me find it in here. And we will need smoke. So this pack has particles that are a deprecated way to create particles. So it's using a skid, but right now we are using Niagara. So I had to convert them, and to convert them you have a useful plugin. So you can type cascade to Niagara converter, and you can enable this and restart your project. After that you can just right click and then convert to Niagara system, and you can see I converted a few smokes to see which one is the most appropriate, and I found this one to be the most appropriate for my project. And in here I just modified a few things. So first I created 2 different types of smoke so we can quickly differentiate which smoke we are currently seeing. So we have dirt and the road, and I also edited a few things in here to kind of make the particles go up faster. Also I made them spawn almost instantly. Before it had kind of fade in and then it scaled up and stuff like that, but that creates a problem for us since the car is going really fast, and then particle will look like it spawned like few meters behind the car because it needed time to kind of fade in. So this was kind of a slower smoke, so I just kind of sped it up, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the basic edits that I made there. Next thing that I did is I took the particles and then created a component called Niagara system component, Niagara particle system component, and I just created and set it up for each tire. So this is important to have each one for one tire because we don't want to spawn it like per tick or something. So we can kind of have emitters there and then just manipulate if they're activated or deactivated. Another thing that I did is on each of these components, you have this activated or deactivated option. So we want them to be deactivated in the beginning and then we activate them later. And I first activated them and then set them in the right spot and then deactivated them. Now you can see that this is not perfect. It's kind of randomly spawning and the size is not right and stuff like that, but those are all little things. Right now I just focused on creating kind of a proof of concept where we can see how this works and that this actually works, where the car creates these dust particles when it's going over a particular surface. So yeah, after you deactivate them, after you put them in a position and then deactivate them, you would need to create an array of these particle emitters. So I created an array, set variable type to Niagara particle system component, and then created 4 entries because we have 4 tires. And then I just went and took these Niagara components and then just set them to make an array. And the listing of these tires is important. You want to keep it the same as in our vehicle movement component. So in here we can see 0 is the FL for forward left, forward right, back left, back right, and we have the same in here. So that is really important, so we can automatize this more. And I think that's about it in here. I did not change anything here. Next we go to our car effects, where if we have our other effects, that we did in the video before, and now we want to add another thing. And I use this sequence to just quickly kind of segregate what activates uh, and when it activates. So I want one next to after each other, but I don't want them to activate in here. I don't want to continue this chain, so I use sequence to easily swap executions. And the first thing that we do here is first check some basic stuff. So first we want to check is our tire even in contact with some surface. If it's not, then we can just forget about doing this effect, so we don't care. It's false, we can just deactivate this the emitter. And we also do another check because we want to see if we are slipping, if our tires are actually going on the road, if something's happening with the tires. And this is where we use where we check is slipping and is skidding, and we want either one of these will create smoke particles. So you can see we have kind of a little logic nodes here where we check we need both of these. So if we are in contact with the ground but we are not slipping or skidding, we don't want the particles. But if we are doing either of those, we want the particles if we are on the ground. So after we do that check and it's true, we set active whatever emitter is this. So keep in mind this is done each tick 4 times for each tire. So you can think of this like this is activating one tire and setting particles for that one particular tire. And when we set this active, we take this particle emitter that we had before, we type get in here, and we get a copy of the component, and we get a copy, a specific index. We have index from 0 to 3, and we take that from this loop. We can basically check which tire are we currently on, and then take the tire and only for that tire change stuff. So this is why it's important to have FL, FR, BL, BR in that sequence, the same sequence that we had in here, because now we can just take this index and use it for everything wherever we want to check to do something on the specific tire. So after we set activate, we get the surface type, and this surface type can be set if we go in project settings and type surface. We have these physical surfaces, and this is what is set right now. And this is set in this city sample project, but you can of course set your own. Right now I think I'm using concrete and surface ground. And I did not want to create another surface since we already have like 10 in here. So you can just create surfaces, and then this will be important when we have our physics materials. So to kind of identify which type of surface type is the road or the dirt, we need to create our own physics materials. So to create a physics material, you would go to you click right click, then go to physics, and then click on the physical material. After you click on that, you will create a new physical material, and in here we can check which surface type it is. So then if we take this physical material which is in contact with our tire, with this particular tire that we are checking, we can check, okay, is it surface ground, is it concrete, which surface type is this physical material on. And if we click on the road and scroll down and find this physical material override, I set it to PM dirt. So if our car is going onto this dirt looking road, it will signal whatever is set up in here. It will signal surface type surface ground. And on this one I set PM street, which will signal surface concrete. So when it goes in here, it will signal one of those two, and then depending on them I'll set the particle. I'll get my particle emitter, and then I will set it. So I will do something like this. System asset. So I would set a specific system asset, and one would be road or dirt. And if we are not touching anything, it's going to be deactivated. So that's about it for this setup. Now let's see how that looks. So if we click play, we can go inside our car. Now you can see the color of my particles. You can see how now it becomes black when we're going over our road, but if you're going here, if you're going in here, we are getting basically brown smoke. And if you go in here, it should be black. And right now the smoke is a bit exaggerated, and of course not perfect. You would have to adjust this specifically for your car and for the look that you're going for. And I would also advise setting this particle emitter in here. When you're adjusting your emitter, it should generally emit from a specific point, so it will be somewhere in here. Right now the emitter that I have, since it's not created for this, it kind of emits randomly in kind of an area, so I just put it in the middle of the wheel, but you would want it kind of in the bottom and then spawning instantly and spawning quickly, and then you'd get kind of a more realistic effect for the Niagara meter.